Good evening, everyone. I'm Adrienne Broadus here at Penumbra Theater in St. Paul, where they preserve and celebrate Black history every day. We want to thank the staff here at Penumbra for opening their space and allowing us to tape this special edition of Breaking the News from their beautiful theater. Here, on the 28th day of February, as the sun is setting on this final day of Black History Month, we're going to look back at some of the stories that have touched you the most, some of the stories that highlight our community and the struggle. We begin with a story born right here on this stage. Penumbra's new powerful play talks about the haunting case of Emmett Till. I sat down with some of the actors who say this play is needed now more than ever. What do all of you make of the Jussie Smollett story?
That is a absolutely mind-boggling moment to consider.
And Benevolence runs here at Penumbra Theater through March 10th. Outside of the month of February, Black history is on display year-round here at Penumbra. It's preserved in the form of a quilt. If you look at this quilt wall behind me, you'll see the word Rondo. And that's where we're going to go now, to the Rondo neighborhood, where a trio of students are being recognized nationally for their documentary highlighting the trauma linked to the Rondo neighborhood. And Frederick Douglass said it best, if there is no struggle, there is no progress. That is our time for tonight. I want to thank all of you for being part of this conversation. Keep the comments coming on our KARE 11 Facebook and Twitter page, because it's only through open dialogue that we, together, can change the future. Good night.
Last night, our news family was shocked to learn that our friend and our coworker, Randy Shaver, is battling cancer for the second time.
Most of us learned the news just like you did, from Randy on Facebook, and it was a punch in the gut. It was especially cruel because Randy has already beaten cancer once before, 20 years ago. But from the moment he hit send last night on his Facebook page, thousands and thousands of you have reached out to tell Randy you're praying and that you have his back. This morning, I sat with my longtime friend and newsroom brother to talk about the news he broke and the battle he plans to win. All right, let's be honest. Neither one of us wants to do this interview.
How could you tell?
One thing you need to know about Randy Shaver. He's a humble man. Not much shakes him. But cancer, for a second time, it's trying its best. When were you diagnosed the second time?
Yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. I mean, this has been an ongoing process. It's not that I can't handle it. I will. It's not that I'm not going to be positive about it. I will. But right now, today, yesterday, today, it's frustrating. I'll get over it. I'll get past it. But you're catching me at a time today where I'm not there yet.
Randy has prostate cancer, and luckily this time around isn't like his first. Last time, he didn't listen to his inner voice telling him something was wrong.
When I got sick the first time, I put it off a long time. I made up so many excuses as to why I was having night sweats, why I didn't feel good. I made up every excuse in the world for months, and it could have been disastrous had my wife not slapped me across the head and said, get to the doctor.
That time was Hodgkin's disease, and it was 20 years ago this summer. And Randy was pleased to keep that time in that time.
That script was done 20 years ago. When I walked out of my last radiation treatment in 1998, I celebrated and I said, never again.
This time, however, the devil he knows well came out of nowhere.
Now that I've been through it, it's like, God, why? You know? I never said why me the first time around. I didn't. But this time I'm kind of going, God bless it, you know? But as I've often told people, cancer doesn't care who you are. It doesn't care who you love. And I found out again that that is so true.
Randy's condition is serious but treatable. And again, that has a lot to do with getting his physical and finding out what was going on with his erratic blood levels as soon as they got that way.
Had I waited, had I procrastinated, which a lot of people do, and I'm in that group to some extent, the outcome may not be as good as the prognosis is for me. I'm looking at probably surgery in October. I can't control that. I can't control what's going to happen after that. I can't control the after effects of all that's ahead of me for that.
Are you scared?
You know what? I'm scared of the process because I've been in the process. I'm not scared of the cancer necessarily. I know it's serious and I know that it'll get taken care of, but this is just a different deal.
And while Randy takes all the time he needs to take this down as an encore of sorts, I would be in error if I don't remind you. While Randy was physically cancer-free for the last 2 decades, he was never off the battlefield. In his recovery, Randy and his wife Roseanne founded the Randy Shaver Cancer Research and Community Fund. To date, they have raised $6 million and I have no doubt saved lives. But Randy doesn't boast about that because remember, Randy is a humble man, first and foremost, with one message for all of you watching tonight.
If there's anything that comes out of my situation that's positive, is I hope that there's men out there that say, you know what, geez, I need to go get my physical. I need to be more proactive for me. Because if you don't, you know, who knows what lies ahead for you.
2 for 2, huh?
I hope so. 2 for 2. Let's do it.
Welcome. Good morning.
Thank you.
I thought about my mom a lot because I grew up watching that show. Ken. Yeah.
Yeah, what is it like being on the other side of the camera?
I have so much respect for the people that share with us because it is really vulnerable to be on the other side of the camera. I can't tell you what it felt like to be sitting on the Today Show couch. Everybody was so kind, Adrian.
Just about the time you got the job at KARE in 2003, you were at a point where you were a little ashamed about the idea about being gay.
When Al Roker was looking at me, asking me a question, all I kept thinking was, Al Roker is talking to you.
When I read that, it kind of struck me almost like the speech Pete Buttigieg gave. Looking back, he wishes he could take a pill and no longer be gay.
For me, coming out was a very painful process.
When we talked about you coming on, we were thinking in the meeting of all the different, people in news who have had to deal with all sorts of criticism. There was a Denver meteorologist. She received criticism for being too pregnant. Another meteorologist, she received negative comments from a viewer. They didn't like her natural hair.
Because I work with you, Adrian, you and I talked about many of those things. I, again, am not special. So many people face barriers in our industry. So did some of the people on that couch. There's a set of rules that aren't written down, but we all know what they are.
You know, here at KARE, we get to see your courage on display all the time. But today, I think the world got to see that.
My story is everybody's story. I think it takes all of us. It takes all of our might. It takes a lot of years, it takes a lot of falling down to figure out who we are. For me, it took 39 years, and I'm lucky and blessed that it just took 39.
Thank you so much for being here.
As we head to break, here are more of your comments on Jana's appearance on the Today Show.
Unfortunately, this morning, the president took to Twitter to unleash an all too familiar attack, saying the fake news media in our country is the real opposition party and that we, the media, are truly the enemy of the people. But oddly, at the same time, his staff was in the process of asking all of the television networks for primetime airtime tomorrow night so he could address the nation. Interesting to ask the people he had just admonished in a tweet for a favor. But I thought, well, the president says he wants airtime. He just gets it, right? Well, the answer is no.
The big networks don't have to air a presidential address just because he asks. In 2014, then President Barack Obama wanted to address the nation during prime time on the big networks, NBC, CBS, ABC, and Fox, and those big networks said no thanks. According to Politico, back then, the reasons were these. Obama's speech about immigration back then was going to be overtly political, and it would have hurt the ratings that the primetime shows already slated to air would get. In 2009, Fox declined to air an address by President Obama that ABC, CBS, and NBC all agreed to carry live. Fox in 2001 also once declined to air an address from then President George W. Bush. So in short, networks are not required to carry a presidential address, but networks generally take the requests from any president very seriously. Lots of people don't have cable, so they can't just flip on CNN or Fox News if the over-the-air channels, like this one, pass on POTUS.
Sorry about that. You saw George H.W. Bush in there when you should have saw George W. Bush. But anyway, I'll let you know an update to that story. All three of the big networks are in. I haven't seemed to figure out if Fox is or not. They're not on Twitter, so couldn't find their definitive answer. But they'll be on tomorrow night for 8 minutes. So if you have any questions you want answered, hit us up. Any question at all using the hashtag BTN11, or you can just shoot me a tweet directly. You know that works. You can ask about today's topics. So ridiculous and so meta. But we made it happen because it's Halloween and this is a party show. These two amazing fans, Meg and Gilly, couldn't find better outfits, I guess. So they did one that looks like me. And for the last, 24 hours, we've taken to the internet to say who did it better. And you know what? I'm kind of a Minnesotan right now, so I can't decide. Both of you win. But they are voting online right now, and it's close, but Meg is in the lead with 57% to 43%. I mean, this is, it's not fair. But I want to start with you, Gilly. Why? And how did you do that to your hair?
Pin curls
Pin
and
curls.
a lot of time.
Yeah. So how do you come up with the idea?
I curled my hair a few weeks ago and for an event, and then the next day, woke up with day 2 and just looking in the mirror, and I was just like, I kind of got the Jana Shortle going on. I was like, okay. So I told a few friends, and one of them was like, you need to go as Jana for Halloween, and best idea ever, so.
I mean, I'm not at all insulted that you woke up like this.
Yeah.
On day 2, and it's me.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, crusty day 2.
Why not dress as Jana Shortle?
It's a cheap costume, right? You just find your mom's old blazer, throw a bolo on, and call it a day. Nice shoes.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, just cuff your pants a little bit because we're short.
Yep.
But for the taller version of myself, we have Meg.
That's me.
What are you thinking?
Well, honestly, I was not going to dress up at all because I couldn't think of anything, and I was flipping through Twitter on Sunday night and saw a picture of our friend Gilly over here and said, I could probably do that. I had no idea it was going to escalate like this. So Gilly deserves all the kudos for the inspiration.
Hey, you did a good job.
Thank you.
So Meg robbed Gilly, who robbed me.
Yep.
Awesome. That's great. That's outstanding. Well, we have some final results, and old me will get them. Meg, 56% to 44%. You wind up on top. But here's the thing, like I said, I can't decide. And what both of you don't yet have is a pocket square.
Yes.
This is what makes it complete.
Oh.
So you get to choose.
Oh, thank you.
Probably both of them have a bit of my sniffles.
Hey.
Oh, I would be honored.
Which would you like?
They're so beautiful. I don't even know. I'm going to take this one.
Okay, there you go. Here's your consolation pocket square.
I'm honored.
Right? So I hope next year that you get a better costume idea in mind,
Impossible.
and maybe that person will have you on their 6:30 television show. But until then, you're the better me.
Oh, thanks, Jana.
Thanks for coming on today.
Thank you for having
And thanks all of you for voting. Thanks to Megan Gilly. And let's have some more fun when we come back. Now you get a little.
I got Jana on my right, Jana on my left. And if you're heading out to go trick or treat, don't eat all the candy, give it to the dentist. Because Jay, if you eat the candy, what happens?
Cavities.
Cavities.
Cavities come in your mouth. We got cavities in your mouth.
And if you sip all day, you get decay. If you sip all day, you get decay. So have fun and be safe.
We're gonna get sued by the FCC.
No, no, no.